good, y'all? It's your boy King Cal 516 live in the mix. This is the Swiss Flames podcast. Definitely before we get started, I just want to sit there and say thank you to all the support you guys have been showing. We just crossed the 500 subscriber mark over there on our YouTube page, and we're definitely thankful of that. Listen, we got a lot more great content to come. We also haven't gotten to our live debates, which is coming soon. We're going to hit up some really great debate topics. Not the typical what you see out there normally in the media, so, don't really expect to hear the Jordan versus LeBron debate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's overused and overtired. We're going to try to hit some really solid debates that are not the normal what you hear over, in the media sound waves. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Once again, we just definitely appreciate the support you guys have been showing. It's been tremendous. Remember to continue to like, subscribe, share the page. And also, I just want to give you guys some insight of, that we really put the podcast everywhere right now. You know what I mean? We're just trying to get the buzz, and we're just trying to get the podcast out to as many platforms as possible. Once it starts getting to a certain level and a certain number of followers, at that point, maybe we'll negotiate a deal with one of these platforms to do an exclusive deal. But as of right now, like I said, the main goal would just get it as much places as possible. So just so you guys are aware, you can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. You can check iHeartRadio, Player FM. So there's a lot of ways you can listen beyond just our website. So there's multiple ways you can listen. Also, a lot of the excerpts we put on the website go right to the YouTube page as well, Swiss Flames Podcast. So hit us up. Continue just to show your support. We definitely appreciate you guys. You know what I mean? I just wanted to take a quick time just to say thank you. Much appreciated. Anyway, today's topic at hand, the NBA release a pre-schedule, basically, to start the marketing and, to start the buzz about the upcoming NBA season. And so later on this week, we expect the full schedule to be released. But as of right now, they just gave us the key marquee games for opening day and Christmas. So we're going to dive into these games. And usually when the NBA releases a schedule, you get a great indication of where the management of the NBA, where the league office, what they're trying to push for that season. You know what I'm saying? Because they're thinking of storylines. They're thinking of, obviously, teams in a certain market that are popular, players that are popular. So you get a good indication how the NBA perceives a certain team, usually on the schedule, if they leave them out. And so we're looking at it. So let's start with the opening day schedule, which starts Tuesday, October 19th. Will be opening day in the NBA this upcoming season. And so we got a nice little game here, a nice little doubleheader on opening night, which would be the Nets versus the Bucks. So we see Giannis and KD. So there's a lot of star power there. Obviously, the Bucks just won the championship, so out of respect, you got to play the Bucks opening night. They just won the title, right? And that'll be at 7:30 p.m. start on TNT, and then the game right after that would be Golden State versus the Lakers. So last couple of seasons, we noticed that it was the Clippers versus Lakers they really pushed. You know what I mean? Kawhi is hurt, so obviously Kawhi Leonard's not going to be there. So obviously they're not going to push the Lakers versus Clippers opening night, because of the fact that, they already know that Kawhi's not playing. So it'll be more Steph Curry and LeBron as far as that goes. So that's going to be an interesting matchup right off the bat. I'm all for those two matchups on opening night. I think that's going to be exciting. You know what I'm saying? Golden State. I don't believe Klay Thompson will be available at the start of the season. So that's the only bummer about that. But I think that's going to be an exciting game to watch. So that's a good start, doubleheader in my opinion. You know what I mean? As far as the next day, the Wednesday night, you got the Celtics versus Knicks. And this lets you know that the Knicks are really back relevant in the NBA's eyes. And I always surprise people when I tell them, do you know the Knicks are worth the most in the NBA? That means their value is more valuable than any other team in the NBA. Now, the Lakers are number 2, and the Knicks are not way over the Lakers in value. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks are worth $4 billion, bro. Like, that's a lot for a sports team. The Knicks are worth $4 billion. That New York market is serious. You know what I'm saying? Me being a New York native, I could tell you for a fact, basketball is number 1 in New York. If you go down south, you go to Florida, you go to Texas, football is number 1. You go to a lot of these southern states, especially these smaller southern states like Mississippi and all these other little smaller populated states. Football is number 1. the whole town, the whole city is involved in football, and I'm talking about from all levels. So they're getting in high school, the whole town is going to support. College, they all support big time. So I'm not saying New York doesn't support football, but I'm just saying like the like for basketball is more. And if you look at it, even recruits in basketball, where the top recruits come from? Well, New York, California, Chicago. A lot of the top recruits come from there. It's not to say that you don't get top recruits from other places, but a lot of the top recruits come from those 3 states, right? Just like in football, we know a lot of the top recruits come from Florida and Texas. So New York is a big time basketball state, and if you look at the Knicks since the early 2000s, you know, after the Patrick Ewing reign, after the Allie Houston, Latrell Spiro Knicks, you know, even when Carmelo was there later on, you know, they made the playoffs, but they weren't like a perennial playoff team with Carmelo, right? So the thing about the Knicks, for a while, they haven't been consistently a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like right now with their new management, I think that they have credible management. I think Leon Rose and Worldwide West immediately have come in and have done things the right way. We'll see if they continue to have patience. And I think this past offseason was a great test that they didn't try to just do a contract to try to get a big name in there, because that's the way the old regime of the Knicks was doing. Whoever they can get, if they can just get a big name, get a big name. No, you need to have specific goals. You need to have specific players that you know are going to make an impact. And if you can't get those players, you continue to build the way you've been building. And that's what the Knicks have done. And that's why I believe the Knicks are in way better hands right now than they have been in previous years. So they're doing a great job over there. And so the NBA is looking at the Knicks now because they're, you know, in New York, which is a large media market, it's a large market in general of eyes. You know, the NBA is happy that the Knicks are successful, because to the NBA, that's more success for them. And so we have the Knicks versus Celtics on ESPN on Wednesday, October 20th. And then the doubleheader game after that will be the Nuggets versus the Suns. And so the Phoenix Suns are starting to get, you know, obviously some coverage because of their run last season, which deservedly so. They got Chris Paul, obviously that's star power, and they got a rising star in Devin Booker. You know what I mean? But I'm still surprised to see Denver, although Denver is one of the elite teams. You know what I mean? But without Jamal Murray, but the league is still pushing Denver, which is pretty cool. They're a young and upcoming team, and you know, when Jamal Murray comes back, they'll have a shot. You know what I mean? Of making some noise in the playoffs. All right, so we go to the Thursday, and here's where, you know, I'm not surprised. This is a great night of games right here. You got Dallas versus the Hawks. So, and that's going to be on TNT. So you got Luka versus Trae Young. That's going to be an exciting matchup. Remember, those guys were traded for each other in that draft. So that's a great matchup. Both of these guys have lived up to the hype. And both of these guys got great up-and-coming teams. You know, my take on Luka, I just think Dallas is a second star away from Luka really contending for a title, even at his age. Trae Young, to me, the Atlanta Hawks just need a couple more years. I mean, they did great last season to make it to the conference finals. I think they're just a season or two away, and just with the core they got to develop. You know what I'm saying? I think once Cam Reddish is able to take that next step, you got to watch out on this team. I mean, you know, I was kind of surprised they re-signed John Collins. I was thinking that he was gone, but that's great, a re-signing for them. And so I just think they're a couple of seasons away. I just think Cam Reddish's development on that team is what's going to be crucial for them being serious title contenders. But that's going to be an exciting matchup. The doubleheader off of that will be the Clippers versus the Warriors. So the Clippers are getting some love, you know what I'm saying? But we know Kawhi Leonard won't be playing that game, but that should be an exciting game. The Clippers are still going to make some noise. I still look at them as the middle of the pack Western Conference team without Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? They're still going to be very good. They're still going to win some games. All right, and then on that Friday, the last day we'll cover, opening weekend of the NBA. You got that Friday matchup, the Nets versus 76ers. That should be a lot of hype. We'll see how the 76ers look, if Ben Simmons is still on it or if they made a trade and some other player is now on the team, but we'll see what happens there. So that's a 7:30 p.m. Eastern start. That'll be on ESPN. And then the doubleheader of that is Phoenix versus the Lakers, which I'm going to be very, very excited to watch that matchup. And that'll be a 10 p.m. ESPN start. The difference between this Laker team now is that they have a guard that's going to continuously put pressure on the guards of Phoenix. Dennis Schroeder was unable to consistently put pressure on the guards in that series, and I thought that was a big deal, especially when AD went down. Chris Paul and Devin Booker really didn't have to work too much on defense. But with Russell Westbrook in tow, that's going to be a whole different ball game, because Russell Westbrook is going to put pressure on whoever's guarding him. You know what I mean? So that should be an exciting matchup there. So that's opening weekend for the NBA tip-off. So, that's definitely something exciting about. Just a little overview of what we just went over. This is straight coming from, basically the NBA communications department, and basically stating the first 4 days of the season will feature 8 national television games. Those games will showcase 12 different teams. The last 8 players to win the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player Award. 3 rematches from last season's playoffs. So in those games that we just stated, obviously, we always know star power. I told you, you kind of see what the NBA is trying to push, which obviously the NBA is a star-driven league. So they're pushing star power. They're pushing previous big-time MVP awards. They're pushing some of the playoff matchups that happened the season before. So they're trying to create drama, obviously, to create ratings. And so that's basically what we got going on for the opening week of the NBA there. So I'm excited about it. I'm definitely excited about it. So I just want to know what you guys think. What's your opinion on opening weekend? Which game are you excited about the most? Definitely hit us up and let us know. All right, with that said, we'll continue on our Christmas preview and another posting, so be on the lookout for that. With that said, it's your boy King Cal 516 signing off.